Technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational, said by George Couros. Morning, everyone. My name is Ashutosh Mishra, and I'm a physical and health education teacher at Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Astana, Kazakhstan, working closely with grade 9 and 10 students. Earlier this year, I have completed my portfolio, which focused on innovative strategies to enhance students' performance. While reflecting on the project, I found myself particularly intrigued by the potential of wearable technology in educational sports settings. Could a tool commonly used by elite athletes also make a meaningful difference in school-based training? The question planted a seed for the study. As a teacher, I often grappled with challenges like sustaining students' motivation, ensuring consistent engagement, and measuring real improvement in physical performance. I began to wonder, can technology help solve some of these challenges? This curiosity led me to design a 10-week randomized controlled trial aimed at evaluating the impact of wearable technology, especially the Apple Watch, on agility, endurance, and students' motivation among adolescent futsal players. Futsal, with its fast pace and demand for quick decision making and movement, is an ideal sport for performance tracking. While wearable tech is widely used in elite sports, its use in adolescent school setting remains largely unexplored, especially in Kazakhstan. Through this study, I aimed not only to test performance outcomes but also examine how technology could influence body awareness, self-regulation, and training consistency, all of which are critical in students' physical education journey. So finally, I was curious to explore whether wearable tech could enhance students' playing performance in school-based sports training. Today, I'm excited to share the findings of a 10-week study titled Impact of Wearable Technology on Adolescents in Football Performance. Technology is becoming an integral part of modern sports. Devices like smartwatch allow real-time monitoring of heart rate, movement, energy system, energy use, and movement. In elite sports, this data is used to fine-tune performance. But can it work in schools? That's a question I aim to answer. The study had three main objectives. First, to evaluate whether wearable technology improves agility and endurance. Second, to see if it enhances students' motivation. And third, to explore whether these tools can bridge the gap between professional and school level training. My hypothesis was the student using wearable technology, specifically the Apple Watch, would show significantly greater improvement in performance. The null hypothesis stated that there would be no difference between the groups. While doing this research work, I found out some literature which was connected to my topic. Lookings at 2016, majority of wearable devices are designed for adult population, which raises concern about their accuracy and comfort when used with adolescent. Taylor 2022 found that wearable sensors provided accurate and practical assessment of agility-related metrics. Scott 2021 conducted a 12-week research and found significant improvement in VO2 max and aerobic capacity among students. But my existing research shows wearable can improve VO2 max and identify subtle inefficiencies in movement. However, there are very limited data on adolescents athletes, especially in school settings. The gap inspired this study. We used randomized controlled trial. We selected 20 grade 9 futsal players, 10 boys and 10 girls, and randomly split them into control and experimental group. Both groups followed identical training schedules, but only the experimental group used the Apple Watch. We measured the performance using two tools, the linear agility test and 20-meter beat test. The Apple Watch was used to give real-time feedback, which the coach used to adjust training intensity and provide a personalized insight. Both tests were conducted in an indoor gymnasium. For the agility assessment, the Illinois agility test was used, and the process is participants begin by lying face down with their head behind the starting line and hands positioned by their shoulders. On the command go, the stopwatch was started. The participants quickly stood up and sprinted 10 meters forward around the cone, then returned 10 meters back to the start. From there, they navigated a zigzag path through the 4 cones placed in a straight line. Finally, they completed another 10-meter sprint forward and back past finishing cone, at which point the timer was stopped. Each participant completed 2 trials with a better time was recorded. For the endurance assessment, the beep test, also known as 20-meter shuttle run, was employed. Following the original protocol developed by the Ledger and Lambert, in this test, participants continuously ran back and forth on 20-meter course, matching their pace and timed audio beeps. The pace increased a regular interval until the participants could not longer maintain the regular speed. A parental consent was obtained prior to the test, and the same teacher administered both pre and post test to ensure consistency. Let's look at the agility results. Both groups showed improvement. The experimental group improved 1.15 seconds while the control group improved 1.07 seconds. However, the difference was not statistically significant, suggesting wearable tech didn't have a clear impact on agility. The graph also tells the same thing, but the endurance was a different story. The experimental group improved by 1.42 levels while the control group improved by only 0.42 levels. The difference was highly significant, supporting the hypothesis that wearable tech enhances endurance. And the graph is saying the same thing, no? Boys control group, boys experimental group, girls control group, girls experimental group. The levels have gone up. Let's take a closer look at the results. Both groups, control and experimental, improved the agility over the 10 weeks training period. Experimental group, which used wearable technology, improved by an average of 1.15 seconds, while the control group improved by 1.07 seconds. Although both improvements were statistically significant within their own groups, the difference between them was not statistically significant. This suggests that while structured training improves agility, the wearable tech did not offer a clear additional benefit in this area. However, the endurance results told a different story. The experimental group improved their beep test scores by an average 1.42 levels compared to only 0.42 levels in the control group. The difference was highly significant. It shows that real-time feedback from wearable devices like heart rate monitoring and performance tracking likely help students to pace themselves better, train more effectively, and stay more motivated throughout these sessions. To summarize, I would say the wearable tech made a real difference in endurance but not in agility. I can say this based on the evidences through these analysis. More importantly, students reported feeling more motivated, more aware of their progress, and more engaged in learning and training. For me as an educator, this is a big win. With this, I will say that there are alternative factors also influence the performance. These are structured training, coach attention, peer influence, novelty effect of technology, and placebo effect. From an educational perspective, the study had several strengths. First, it was conducted in a real school settings using a randomized controlled trial design, which added credibility to the comparison between groups. The use of both agility and endurance test offered a well-rounded measure of physical performance. The inclusion of both boys and girls ensured balanced gender representation. and the use of wearable tech allowed for personalized feedback, which helped engage students more deeply in their training. However, the study had limitations too. The sample size was small, only 20 students, so the findings can't be widely generalized. The study ran but just for 10 weeks, which not fully captured the long-term impact of wearable tech. Additionally, the Hawthorne effect may have influenced results where students perform better simply because they know they are being observed or part of something new. Future research should last longer, involve more schools, and test different wearable devices. I am also interested in exploring psychological outcome like confidence and motivation, and how teacher training might affect the success of wearable tech in schools. Before I end my presentation, I would like to thank my grade 9 students, my colleagues, Mr. Abai, Ms. Almira, Mr. Russell, HOD, Mr. Irbol, and my school principal, Ms. Karlaya. Thank you very much.